What's an operational layout? Operational layouts, these are physical arrangements on your shop floor. As we walk through a shop floor, we'll see a certain layout that we can kind of understand. Now, these operational layouts, these are physical arrangements that is done in a workplace. It could be in an office, it could be on a shop floor. It optimizes the workflow. It could also be in our houses. There's a layout that we have in our house. This is an operational layout that optimizes the workflow, reducing movement, unnecessary movement, while enhancing and boosting efficiency. The purpose is to reduce movement and boost efficiency of our processes and our product flow. It enhances productivity, minimizes the waste that would have ever resulted in a wrong operational layout. Flexibility to respond to changes in the mix. I'm making one product today, tomorrow I'm going to make something else. I need to have a flexibility in the system. So all of these things, it is a very, very scientific process of looking at what could be a best layout to suit my product. As my product changes, as the product mix changes, I need to be flexible in my operational layout. There are various types of operational layouts that are available in a shop floor. Now, this depends on individual organizations. This depends on the individual engineers that work on these layouts to see which is best suited to your product or to the service that you offer. You could have a product layout, which we call it as a line layout. A product layout is a linear arrangement following your production order. So there's a production order, things are written on the production order, and they go through step one and a step two and a step three and a step four. So operational layout, a product layout, a linear arrangement following your production order. This is ideal for a standardized product, a continuous flow, where there is less variation in your product. You follow this layout, go in from step 1 to step 2 to step 3, 4, and a finished good. You could also have a process layout, which is a functional layout, not a line layout, which is a product layout, but a functional layout, which is a process based layout. Now, here you will see that the operations are laid out grouped by the similar equipments or functions in a department. Variety of products, flexible, efficient use of resources. So a group of machines which does a similar job are in one cell, and a group of machines which does another type of activity are in a different cell. You see this sometimes in organizations also. You see a process layout, a functional layout, where a function sits together. So look at a finance team which typically sits together. Look at a marketing team which sits together. Look at a sales team which sits together. So this is based on their functions. This is similar on the production shop floor. It is based on the machines that can do similar activities are grouped together. This improves flexibility and efficient use of our resources. You could also have a group layout, a cellular layout, workstations in cells, specific tasks. So as your operation starts getting more and more complex, as you need more and more machines, as you need more and more materials to do it, you go into different types of layouts that are best suited for your self-contained units, teamwork and less material handling. So a cellular layout. So you make cells to make different types of products or different types of sub-assemblies. Fixed position layout. This is typically used in large scale projects. Stationary product. The product is stationary. Tools, equipments are brought to the product. Let's say a ship building. You cannot move the ship from one station to another as it goes through the various shipbuilding activities. So the ship by and large remains stationary, and the products or the machines or the cells are brought to the ship so that the equipments can complete the product which remains stationary. That's the fixed position layout. Hybrid layouts. So as we have a combination, that's not one layout that suits an organization. So engineers look at different layouts so that whatever is best, and that could be a hybrid layout, which is a mixture or mixes different types of layout to suit our individual requirement. It again, the requirement is to optimize the productivity and ensure there is flexibility in your operations. A virtual layout or a remote layout, a distributed work, digital tools, communication technology, a virtual layout, which is very, very popular now, a remote layout as we do in offices, a warehouse layout, storing arrangement, aisles, order picking zones. So a warehouse layout, small goods on one side of the warehouse, the bigger goods on another side of the warehouse, perishable goods on one side of the warehouse, dangerous goods on another side of the warehouse. So you could have a warehouse, a storage arrangement depending on the goods that you store inside your warehouse. Office layout, as we spoke about, organizes the workspaces, organizes the department in a certain flow. Could be an open plan, could be a cubicle, could be a different type of offices or a flexible layout. Or a retail layout. When you walk into a retail store, there are different retail layouts depending on which customers do you cater to, depending on the product that you want the customer to see first or the product you want the customer to see last, depending on the actual product, the usage, and the psychology of the customer. So you could have a retail layout which focuses on a floor plan, product display, a checkout counter. We've seen this in our grocery stores, a grid or a loop or a free flow product layout. Now, what influences your layout design? Of course, the processes that you follow in your shop floor and the sequence that you want to follow for your operations. What is level step 1, step 2, step 3? What process and what sequence will you follow? This is some of the factors that would heavily influence the design that you choose, the type of production of your products that you have to manufacture, the characteristics of the product, as we talked about a shipbuilding or a plane. Uh, it talks about equipment and machinery depending on what equipment and machinery you have in your warehouse or in your production plan. It talks about that. It talks about the material flow. What type of factors are influencing is the material flow that you want in your production floor. What type of worker interaction do you want? Do you want the workers to cohesively work? Could be a one type of a layout. If you want the workers to work at the station and the material comes to them, could be another type of a layout. If you want the worker to be stationary and the product to move, or if you want the worker to move and the product to be stationary, what type of interaction do you want from one process to the other process? How much is big is your production shop floor? Can I have a longer space items to be placed next to each other? Do I have shorter warehouses? All of this will depend what type of a layout that I will choose for my activity. So there's a planning process, comprehensive assessment of our product, the materials, the equipments that we have, the safety that we require, and the space is essential. So each situation would be different. There'll be no copy paste. Then the types of production and the processes that are involved for making our product, the characteristic of the product itself which is being manufactured, the efficient flow of material within the space that is available to me, placement and arrangement of the equipment and the workstations and the workspaces, safety considerations depending on the layout and the space available to us, unavailability of space and the constraints that the actual physical space presents in some cases. Welcome to this session on material handling and equipment. There's a variety of material handling equipment that's available out in the market. Depending on the organization that you work for, depending on the products that you manufacture, depending on the raw materials that you require, there's a variety of equipments that can be used to improve and enhance the efficiency of your processes. Long gone is the Stone Age where everything used to be done by hand. Modern material handling is focused on improving productivity and ensuring safety of the users. Modern material handling, that is why, is a tech driven movement of material from one place to another. Enhanced material handling includes robotics, AI, Internet of Things, all of this to ensure that do it more efficiently, at the same time do it more safely. It optimizes, reduces waste and cut costs. It connects resources and sourcing to delivering seamlessly to the place where it will be used. AGVs, which are automated guided vehicles, robotics, smart systems, all of these are used for accurate and precise material handling. It coordinates your global operations effectively. Look at some of the material handling equipments. They include tools, smaller ones, bigger ones, machineries, systems for material movement, storage, control, and operation and protection. They are essential for safe, efficient industrial processes and your supply chains. Variety of things can be used. It depends on the type, the weight of your product that you want to move, the volume of your product that you want to move, the distance that you want to move, All of this will influence the equipment choice. The requirement is boost productivity, cut cost, enhance workplace safety. Very important, not just to boost productivity, but also ensure that things are done safely and securely. So you could have a forklift, pole, and operation and protection. They are essential for safe, efficient industrial processes and your supply chains. Variety of things can be used. It depends on the type, the weight of your product that you want to move, the volume of your product that you want to move, the distance that you want to move. All of this will influence the equipment choice. The requirement is boost productivity, cut cost, enhance workplace safety. Very important, not just to boost productivity, but also ensure that things are done safely and securely. So you could have a forklift. A forklift is one where you lift material from one place and keep the material into another place. Typically done over a smaller area or within the warehouse or within the plant or within the yard, used for heavy equipments, lift and keep it. Conveyor systems, these could be conveyor belts as the ones that we see at the airport. Conveyor systems to move decent amount of heavy cargo from one place to another. The cargo is the conveyor belt moves, the cargo remains stationary. A pallet jack, a smaller version, kind of a smaller version used by hand in warehouses, typically to move smaller loads on a pallet from one place to another on the shop floor. Handheld, typically. Cranes, as we know, to make hold securely bigger objects and to move it over a limited distance from one place to another. AGVs, automated guided vehicles. Consider a port. There are thousands and thousands of containers which are there. One container needs to be moved from one place into a yard and from the yard to the vessel. Now think of how much trucks, how many thousands of trucks, how many thousands of truck drivers would you need? Now consider an AGV. An AGV can be summoned on demand. It's driverless, goes to the place, the container gets loaded, goes to the ship, the crane then picks it up and puts it onto the container. AGVs are automated guided vehicles, very much in demand and uses a lot of technology. Stackers. So this is another type of equipment where you use them when you want to store something at a higher level. So you have something which is at the ground level, a pallet truck could take care of it, but now I want to put it at the level 1 or a level 2. How do I do it with a pallet truck? How do I do it with a forklift? Forklift sometimes manageable, but if it's very high, then I use a stacker. I could use a racking and a shelving. A one that we use for clothes possibly, or one that you see in stores, in retail outlets. Heavy duty, medium duty, lightweight. Hoists, so one of them again. Lift tables, trolleys and carts, the ones that we use in our day-to-day shopping. Drum handlers, so if you want to use a drum and you want to pull cables out of it, this would be stored vertically, it would be stored in such a way that you're able to pull the drum from the cable. So these are drum handlers. Conveyors, as we spoke about conveyor systems. Robotics and automated material handling, so shopping. Drum handlers, so if you want to use a drum and you want to pull cables out of it, this would be stored not vertically but would be stored in such a way that you're able to pull the drum from the cable. So these are drum handlers. Conveyors, as we spoke about conveyor systems. Robotics and automated material handling, so no intervention of human but uses sensors to move and take care of a lot of things which may be unsafe for people to work on. There are four types when we look at material handling. Storage, typical a storage material. They hold the material during storage, during non-transport times, to hold them. They are buffered during downtime, stock accumulation. So these are storage equipments, pallets, shelves, racks. These are some types of storage equipment. So they don't move, they hold the material. The engineered systems, these are the components which are collaborating for storage as well as for movement. Automated storages, automable retrievable systems which go and pick material. Look at videos from Amazon, look at videos from Noon, and all of these different things. That automated storage and retrieval systems include racks, aisles, shelves, and many more. The industrial trucks, as we said, the forklifts, the pallet jacks, the compact hand tools, hand trucks, all of these come under the industrial trucks. and the bulk material handling. Sometimes the material is just too heavy to handle by any of these means. So the various types. Now look at how can I move the wing of a Boeing. The wing of a Boeing is one of the biggest components to be moved from place A to place B, and it's extremely complex operation of moving. And look at a wind turbine. How do I move a wind turbine from one place to another? So manages loose commodities, odd size objects, and all of these can be moved. So bulk material handling equipment. So this is the types of material like handling equipment: storage, engineered, industrial, and bulk handling. The material handling systems could be manual, and of course for smaller weights they can be used, the manual material handling systems. When you go into larger weights, then you're looking at a mechanical material handling systems, so which consist of gears and transmissions to move it from one place to another, like the conveyors. You're looking at automated material handling systems, so which can be commanded to move material in certain directions.